my God, it's such a pleasure to have the New Jersey entrant for the American Song Contest. Let's welcome Brooke. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I would expect you be exhausted from all of this. You had a tremendous week, tremendous performance. How was all? How was all the week for you?
It was amazing. It was definitely a dream last week, and now I'm back to reality. So it's definitely a bit of a come down, but I'm excited to go back on Sunday for the results.
Yes, and actually, you are familiar with the music industry because I think that you already work for a music label, right?
Yeah, I work for a record label as my day job.
And what about your song? Because I distinguish some elements of romanticism and maturity. What's the balance?
Thanks. Yeah, I think this song is literally about growing up and finding yourself and realizing that you don't have the same priorities that you did as a child. So, the verses are meant to be more introspective and more childlike and wondrous. And then the chorus, you're just kind of taking hold of your life and figuring out who you are and owning that.
But honestly, Brooke, do you want to change priorities?
Well, I think it's just as life continues, you realize that things didn't happen the way you thought they were going to as you get older, and you realize maybe that was for the best. For example, me thinking that I was going to marry every boyfriend I ever had, and it never worked out. But ultimately, I think it was for the best.
Trust me, I can feel you. Um, how hard was to do this stage presentation, because we saw wigs, we saw beds, we saw lifts. How was the whole procedure?
It was definitely a lot to think about, a lot more than I usually have to think about when I perform. And my dad was in the audience and he was like freaking out. He said he was so nervous he couldn't move my entire performance because he was like, what if something goes wrong? Like, what if the wig comes off wrong? What if the robe doesn't come off correctly? And luckily, I didn't have those thoughts. I was just like, I need to do it. So I was able to maintain my, like, stay level headed during the performance. But there were definitely more things to think about. Like, I had to look at certain cameras at certain points in the song. Usually when I perform, I don't have to worry about what my face looks like because I'm so far away from the audience that no one can even see what my face looks like. But for this, obviously the TV cameras are close up. So you see if I'm smiling or if I'm not. So there were just more things to think about. But ultimately, I'm really proud of how the performance came out.
We're also proud because we really enjoyed it, and I think that I speak on behalf of many that you express a lot of us through your song. 1 minute before your live performance began, what was your thoughts?
I was actually freaking out because I was like, what are the lyrics? I was like, I was like, do I know the lyrics? And then the makeup person was like adding powder to my face, and the wig person was setting my wig. And I was like, everyone, leave me alone. Like, I need to think about what I'm about to sing. I couldn't even remember. But ultimately it was fine. I did mess up one lyric in verse 2, but I think that just adds to the performance. Like, it wasn't perfect, but I did my best.
Well, I don't know if you follow the European social media reactions, but you are one of our favorites anyway. Have you been following the mother show of the American Song Contest, the Eurovision Song Contest? Have you digged about it?
I haven't been following it this year, but I did watch last year's on Peacock.
And what's your impression about the European version?
I like, who was my favorite, or just in general?
No, in general, your sentiment about this the European version of a show like this.
It's definitely different. I think that the songs are different. I think in general, the music in Europe is different from the music in America. So naturally, the contestants are going to be different. And also, I think in Europe, the country chooses who's going to represent them. In America, there wasn't a prior vote from my state. So I guess it doesn't feel like there's as much like initial state pride before I'm initially saying I represent New Jersey. And then it's like, everyone come, please support me, rather than New Jersey choosing me to represent them. So it's a little bit different in that regard. But I hope that I was still able to win them over.
Speaking about New Jersey, do you have any feedback from some not organizations, not how do you call them? Do you have any official support from New Jersey?
I was in the New Jersey, the newspaper. Mm-hmm. So I was in a couple different newspaper articles, which was really cool. And then of course my entire hometown, like people I went to high school with that I haven't spoken to in years, were reaching out to me to support me. Parents of old childhood friends. And I definitely have never felt so supported by my hometown before this experience. So it's been really great.
You are inside the world of the music industry, but why did you choose the American Song Contest? Why didn't you choose X Factor, The Voice, or something else?
I think that, well, I have auditioned for those kinds of shows in the past and they have not worked out. But I think it was meant to be, because I am an artist who's figured out who I am, what I want to say, how I want to say it at this point. And I'm glad to have an opportunity to present my original music rather than singing cover songs for, X Factor or American Idol. I think that this is the perfect way to show America who I am as an artist, is to show them my music that I've created myself.
Cool. In order to find out more about you, I would like to ask you, as you are a video content manager in your normal job, right?
Yeah, so I do video editing as my full-time job. And then, of course, I use those skills to edit my own content for social media. So I create all my own TikToks, all my teasers for social media on Instagram, on Facebook. Anything I post, I created myself.
Well, I watched it and said definitely I would hire you instantly. But which of the participants' social media you think are the top right now?
Oh, that's very interesting. I'm going to have to go ahead and say Grant from Texas and Nico from Alabama. I might be a little bit biased because they did become my closest friends on the show, but I think that they all take social media very seriously and very well and are doing a great job.
Okay, now imagine that you're in the middle of the ocean in a very small boat and you see Kim Kardashian, Oprah, and Janet Jackson swimming. Whom would you save?
Probably Oprah, because she's doing the most things to help people in general.
Yes.
I also don't really keep up with pop culture influencers in America. So like the Kardashians aren't really a big deal to me. Janet Jackson obviously was a legend in her time, but like if you had Taylor Swift on that boat, she'd be my first save.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I forgot about that because your Taylor Swift is your ideal duet, right? On a potential stage presentation. Yes. Why Taylor Swift?
She's the reason I started songwriting at all and started guitar when I was 13 years old, because before that I was doing musical theater and show tunes because I thought that was the only way to sing. But when I discovered Taylor, I realized, oh, there's other people around my age who are writing music for the radio. I can do that. And so I started down that path and then eventually moved to Nashville, Tennessee, which is where Taylor also got her start in music. So I've really followed in her footsteps a lot. And you can probably tell in my music and in my stage production how much of an influence she is.
With your music, I see that you're trying to share something with your audience, with us. Why do you sing? It sounds harsh, but what do you want to say to us through your music?
I hope that people find things to relate to in my songs. I used to write mainly about love and heartbreak. But then this past EP of songs that I've released is all about my family and my roots and where I come from. And I've never had music seem to resonate more with people before than this music. And it's not about love at all. And so I think that that has set a fire within me to write more songs that people haven't really heard that theme before and really can connect with and think about other aspects of their life through music.
Wow. To whom are you dedicating your song?
This song is dedicated to myself, to me and how far I've come, how much I've grown. I'm really proud of the person that I am today. It took a lot of hard work to get to this person, to feel as confident as I do in who I am. And so I think this song, the fact that I'm on this show, is all a testament to all the hard work I've put in all these years.
You want to say to me that you were in the past lacking of self-confidence?
I feel like I've always been someone who is a little bit more confident, luckily, but I think I really know who I am. I know what I want to say. I know how I want to say it. I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far, and I really believe in myself.
And if I come, for example, tomorrow night at New Jersey, what's the first thing that you would get me to see?
That's a good question. Probably the Jersey Shore. You should probably check out the beach and see the boardwalk. You could probably see all those different stores that sell funny t-shirts and hats, and go on rides, the amusement park rides, and the casino, or not the casino, the arcade, play some games in there. It's definitely a fun family atmosphere there.
And have you been to any European countries? Have you visited, not only professionally, as just to enjoy?
Yeah, so the one time I went, my grandma took me on a trip to Europe for my high school graduation. So a while back now, but we went on a 14-day cruise of 7 different countries. So I did like a little wine tasting of each country for like 2 days. So we saw Spain, Italy, France, Greece, Croatia, Turkey. I think that's it. But it was amazing, and I definitely need to go back at some point when I have the time.
And you are most welcomed. You know that if you win the American Song Contest, you will have to come and perform at the Eurovision Song Contest in Turin. How exciting this information was for you.
Is that true? I thought that the person just goes to watch. I didn't know they perform.
From what I know, they're going to be a guest in the final of May 14th.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. I know how big of a deal Eurovision is, and it would be such an incredible opportunity to, get my music heard outside of America.
Between us, when you see it, and I hope you see it, it will be nothing like you can possibly imagine.
I'm sure. It would be incredible.
So my last question for you is, forget I'm a journalist, I'm just an average TV viewer. Why should I vote for New Jersey?
You should vote for me because I have been working at this since I was 7 years old. Not only did I write my song, I feel like I performed it to the best of my ability. I came up with all the staging myself. I really put my all into the performance. I hope that New Jersey sees that. I hope the rest of the country sees that, sees all the hard work I've put in, and believes I'm worthy of moving on to the next round.
Thank you, New Jersey. All the best on Monday. See you in the final.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.